Hi there, this is Dr. Shan Tran, Efficiency Executive Coach. I help busy professionals and executives who are feeling exhausted and overwhelmed be able to get back in balance, earn more money, work less, and enjoy life. Today I want to share a quick video on how to approach a coworker about a difficult topic and still preserve the relationship. So I see so many wonderful, kind-hearted people who are feeling afraid to assert themselves because maybe they're dealing with someone who's aggressive or has an aggressive tone, or they're loud, or they have what some people would call a strong personality. And what can often happen if we haven't really developed deep layers of being able to be assertive, both in terms of what it means to be assertive and having the right belief system about a healthy communication style of assertiveness followed by the right action and skill set. If we're dealing with someone who's aggressive, we can often default to being passive. And that's when you do nothing and you tolerate a lot of BS and nonsense. And maybe you've been dealing with this in your own work situation or at home. And so one of the things that you can learn is how to really assert yourself and feel good about it, right? Feel good about it and feel respected by yourself and the other person. And so just recently I was helping a client who was having a really tough work situation. She has a coworker where their behavior is just really unacceptable. They're criticizing her in front of their manager. They are touching her personal items without permission. They're telling her how to eat. They are just doing a lot of inappropriate behaviors, basically. And another one was watching her breaks, like timing her breaks, even though that's not their job. So one of the things that she wanted to do was have the courage to have this conversation with a coworker and set a boundary, because that's one of the things that we've been working on. And this was really scary for her. And maybe you can relate to it, because a lot of us, we just rather avoid than deal with the discomfort of approaching someone who makes us uncomfortable. And one of her solutions was just to get another job. And maybe you've thought of that before. And what often happens though, if we don't learn this skill, if we don't learn to sit in an uncomfortable situation, we can find another job, but we'll end up probably attracting or having to deal with aggressive people, and we're just never really dealing with the actual issue. So I explained to her, that's fine if you want to get another job, but we're going to learn this skill. We're going to learn how to be courageous, and we're going to practice it here. So that way, when you go to another job at some point, you won't have to deal with this again because you'll have already mastered it. So what I did was teach her basically 4 things that she could focus on that would help her feel safe to do this, muster up the courage, and build some reps in practicing this. And if you have a pen and paper, you can write this down for yourself as well, because this could really help you. So step 1 is, if you're dealing with a difficult coworker or a difficult boss or someone in your life where maybe you're feeling just really challenged by some of their behavior and you don't want to tolerate it anymore, but you're afraid to approach them, this is a way that will help you be able to approach them in a healthy way that will still preserve the relationship. So step 1 is have a clear intention on what it is you would like to communicate to this person. So when I mean intention, what you would like to accomplish. What I don't mean is thinking I have to prove myself, I have to defend myself, I have to explain myself, I've got to give a rationale. When we're on that, when our intention is to prove ourselves, explain ourselves, defend ourselves, protect ourselves, that is going to get in the way of really being able to have a pure intention of, really, the intention is a healthy relationship, a healthy boundary, expressing that you expect and deserve to have healthy coworker relationships, right? Healthy relationships, you deserve it, you're worth it. So you want to just have the intention be, the only intention is to address the concern in a way that's respectful to yourself and the other person. It's all the intention that it needs to be. Once you have a clear intention, the next step is to be able to approach them in a way that diffuses their defensiveness. And so many times when we approach someone, we're already approaching them with the tone that there's a problem. And so this person will get defensive. So what you can do is just approach them with something positive, like, hey, do you have a few minutes? When you begin to talk, start with something positive. What I appreciate you, or what I like about you, or I want to thank you for giving me a few minutes of your time. So start with something positive so that they're not already getting defensive when you start the conversation. Step 2 is use words like, I notice. I notice that you've made comments in front of our boss. I've noticed that you've been touching my belongings without my permission. So start with I notice, not you do this, you do that. All of those wordings are making the other person defensive. So just start with I notice, or I'm concerned. And then the third step is start with your preference. This is where I need your support, or this is where I'd like to ask, or I need for you to, if you have a problem with me, I'd really appreciate it. Or if you have a concern about my work, I'd really appreciate if you'd come to me directly, and I'll do the same for you. When you're stating your preference and saying, and I'll do the same for you, what you're letting them know is, if you want me to treat you this way, I expect it from you. Like, would you like to have me say something like this in front of a boss, or treat you this way? Most people would say no. And then the last piece is getting their agreement. Is that something you could agree on? Now, when we have a structure like that, even when we're anxious, if we can just practice that and go through that, it'll help us have that difficult conversation. At this point, if the person starts to distract you by getting angry and justifying themselves, you don't even get into sidetracked. Just stay focused on those 4 steps that I just shared with you. So if they give reasons, or will you do this? Okay, I get all that, but what I'm asking is this. It's like, just stay on track. Do not let them derail you. And then when you get to the last piece of it is, can we have an agreement? Do you agree that this is something we're both going to do? You're now going to approach me personally, or not touch my things, because you want that agreement. You want that agreement because if they don't cooperate with that, now you're in a much easier position to say, this is confusing. We agreed on this. What happened? And that helps you to nip it quickly in the bud. So when you approach it this way, 1, you get to have a difficult conversation, and having structure will help you feel more relaxed. And 2 is you're doing it in a way that's really respectful to the other person. And so it's setting the stage, and you're modeling to them how to have an appropriate conversation. So I hope you found this helpful. If you're having trouble with your coworker, there's different tips and strategies that you can use to basically show people how you want to be treated and what you will tolerate and not tolerate. If you're noticing that you need support on how to have a assertive communication style, like if you're noticing that your communication style is too passive or too aggressive, and you'd like to learn more about how to have a healthy assertive communication style, you want to understand the mindset around it and how an assertive person thinks, their behaviors, what kind of actions they take, reach out to me at support@shannontranphd.com. I'd love to send you my chapter on healthy communication styles that shows you the differences between the 3 types of communications: aggressive, passive, and assertive, and what you can do to start building an assertive communication style so you can have healthy and harmonious relationships in your personal and professional life. So this is Dr. Shannon Tran, Efficiency Executive Coach. I hope you found this helpful. And again, if you would like the copy of that chapter on how to have a healthy communication style, reach out to me at support@shannontranphd.com, and I'd be happy to send it to you. Have a great day. Bye.